investigating the role of task-based instruction in facilitating learning autonomy. This is very important in our contemporary society within the university context actually. So it's very less in the Sri Lankan context, even though there are so many research publications in international context. Whereas so here it's very important to investigate the role of the task-based instruction in facilitating learning autonomy. So here, therefore, I thought that to do this research here based on the study of the perceptions of students at the University of Kelaniya. So based on the test and undergraduate here, this is the content. Here I will be briefly discussing about introduction, literature, research objective and research questions, literature review, methodology, finding and discussion, finally conclusion with references. Without wasting much time, so here we can go with this introduction here. When we consider about our Sri Lankan context, in recent years, the emphasis of learning autonomy in language education has decreased within the university. But when we consider about now contemporary society, there is a rate here. We can identify its gives us a learner autonomy, the place given for the learner autonomy in language is very important in Sri Lankan context nowadays. Then here with the learner autonomy, we can identify task-based instruction actually. When we consider about teaching methodology, the task-based instruction takes an important role because it's connected, highly interactive with the students. So we can say it as a learn-centered instruction, learn-centered approach, teaching and even learning method. So therefore, as a pedagogical approach or the teaching approach, task-based instruction is one of the best ways to implement within the teaching context. When the teacher and the learner, we can improve it. We can identify the enhancement of the rapport between teacher and students with the use of this approach within the classroom and within the teaching context. Actually, it's very important in the university context. Therefore, when we consider about task-based instruction and learner autonomy, there is a high connection here. Then here we can understand it basically provides meaningful learning to improve their responsibility and even their ability, their skills, talents, those everything here for their own learning. When we apply the task-based instruction within the classroom and within the teaching context, the student will identify they have to do this ability, they have to do this task within themselves. Therefore, they have to do this one. Then likewise here, I thought that it's very important to identify the task-based instruction, the role, actually its role, how it helps to enhance the learning autonomy in language education especially. Therefore, we can consider about this subject area. When we consider about although it has become a global interest, the less and even the limited research has been identified within the Sri Lankan context. That's why I told you earlier that to fulfill this gap, here I thought to do this research within the students in teaching English as a second language context here. I thought that it's very important to find out their information, their genuine thoughts to fill this gap here. Actually, especially about the undergraduate perceptions. Therefore, it's very crucial to implement to examine the students' perceptions of the role of TDI, the task-based instruction in promoting learning autonomy in Sri Lanka. When we consider the research objective, mainly my research strategy aims to investigate the role of the task-based instruction in facilitating learning autonomy because it could be more beneficial for both language teachers and learners. Therefore, this is the main objective of my study. Then, when we go with the research questions that are embedded in my research here, first one here, I want to go with this one. How do TESOL undergraduates perceive the role of task-based instruction, TBI, in facilitating learning autonomy? Then the second research question is, what are the student perception regarding the implementation of task-based instruction in their learning process? So here, to get their more genuine thoughts, therefore I want to go with these two research questions to get the in-depth analysis regarding this role of task-based instruction in helping for the learner autonomy. Then when we go with the literature review, here as I told you earlier, there are so many studies conducted in the international context and even in Sri Lanka also, but here there is no clear in-depth analysis towards this research area. When we consider about MS 2003, here TBI task-based instruction is a learner-centered approach. This is the teaching method. Here the students is the main focus and student is the main element in this approach that focuses on performing meaningful tasks using language. So when we consider about on the other hand, according to the Benson, here we can identify here autonomous learners have the more motivation, high confidence. Likewise here, when we move on to the methodology, here this is the qualitative study with the sample of 6 undergraduate undergraduate using the purposive sampling method, using the semi-structured interview. Then the interviews were transcribed and analyzed using the thematic analysis. So when we consider about the findings and discussion, here since this research is conducted as a qualitative method, go with the thematic analysis. Then here first theme is collaborative learning. So after considering about their ideas and even the responses, I made these themes collaborative learning, and second one increase motivation, and finally implementation of TBI. So here consider about these findings. Under the first theme here, they thought that they said that here it's very important to improve their collaborative learning here because they have to do their own learning, and even it helps to increase their motivation. As well as when we consider about the last question of my semi-structured interview, may basically use for their responses or the implementation towards the execution of the TBI in Sri Lanka. Then when we consider about in conclusion here, considering about this study, it concludes that task-based instruction positively contributes to facilitating learner autonomous among TESOL undergraduates. So furthermore, we can identify it's also reported and identified that more structured task-based instruction should be recommended to foster the learner autonomy according to their positive perceptions. Therefore, these are the references that are used for this study. Okay, thank you.
Yes, very nice presentation, and before the opening